10 people who've never met each other all came together for 6 days in my retreat in Mallorca, and neither one of them left the same way they came, for the best. This was Anima's first retreat. We spent 6 days in a villa close by to the mountains, where each one of us went through our own personal journey, including me, Madhu, who I ran the retreat with, and every other person in there, including my own fiance. This was special for me because this was a pivotal moment in my career, my professional life, because this is the first time I've ever done something that didn't feel like work. This felt like deep transformational work that resulted in change to other human beings through connectedness, through soulfulness. And for me, that didn't feel like I'm going to work. No, it was incredible. Every single day was incredible. Now, from the moment we got there, we were greeted by one of the best chefs, or maybe the best chef that I've ever had cook for me in my life. His name is Max. He deserves all the credit. Max Campbell. And every single detail of the food and ingredients that went into each meal represented how the retreat was being ran, okay, with so much love and compassion and so much thoughtfulness. All of that was in the food, and it reflected so much on the actual retreat itself. So on day one, we were blessed with that beautiful meal cooked by Max, who stayed with us throughout the entire retreat, cooking us breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day. Now, after this, of course, you know, each one of us is getting to know each other, understanding why we're here, just having a light conversation at dinner before we went into the actual intention setting, what they wanted to get out of this, including myself. We spoke about it. And you know, one of the things that I said, and it's so inspiring for myself to look back and remember what I talked about. And it was after I went to Mexico and I experienced what a 10-day immersion retreat was, where we learned about the medicines, and you know, we were able to understand more about them, how they worked, how they changed us, how they changed other people. I said, I want to bring everybody here in one circle. By the end of the retreat, I want each one of us to feel like we're part of a family. By day 6, that was exactly the case, and I could not be happier. So we set the intentions. Each person had the opportunity to talk about why they're here, what they want to get from the ceremonies, what they want to get from the medicines, what's been inside of there that maybe they feel like they're facing a blockade. And each person had a different, had a different goal, they're in a different part of their journey. Some people were looking for answers in certain parts of their career. People are struggling to let go of certain emotions. People want to have deeper relationships to God, deepen their relationship to the divine. And of course, within themselves, feel more aligned, feel more present, feel more soulful. Every single person that finished that retreat walked away different. Because day 2, we got straight into it. Day 2 and day 3 and day 4 were the medicine ceremonies, which consisted of 2 kambufos. For those of you who may be a little unaware of that, you've got kambo, which is a purification medicine from the Amazonian rainforest frog. I'm not going to go into too much detail about every single detail in that. It's not really the place to do this. But call it a purification, a purging of the emotion that you hold in your second brain and stomach within. Imagine just cleansing the palate, every chakra. Expel it all that stress, all of those feelings that you hang on to on a daily basis, gone. I always describe it like a journal, like a messy journal where it's not organized, and you throw out all the pages and you start again. You start again like day 1, followed by the Bufo alvarius from the Sonorian desert toad. Incredible medicine. Really one of the most mystical medicines to connect you with the divine, ultimate ultimate consciousness, uh, ultimate raw consciousness. I always describe it as the soul leaving the body, going to a new server, and the server then downloads new information onto your soul, and the soul gently travels back to the body. That's the best way I describe it. And what's important is to allow people to have their own space. At each dinner, we sat in silence. We didn't want to talk about the processes. It's not, oh, how did you feel? What did you go through? It's not like that. No, everybody should be sitting within. This is the time where you need to be with your own thoughts. This is where you should be writing. You should be writing. And what was amazing on day 3 is James, my good friend, who also did a testimonial, he came to me and said, Joe, I've got the answers. And I was like, what do you mean? And he says, I figured out where I'm going wrong in my life and what I'm actually passionate about and what I need to start putting more time and effort into and what I need to let go of. And I was like, wow, you know? And these things come into your life when they're meant to. There was a couple of people that were meant to come onto the retreat, and they were like, oh, I'm waiting for a deal to happen. I'm waiting for this to happen. I just need to make sure this happens. But if it doesn't happen, then, you know, work's going to get in the way and all that kind of stuff. And respectfully, I was like, okay, let's see how that pans out. And for some people, they're like, you know, I could come, but I'm going to be on my phone. I'm going to be in the middle of deals. And I'm like, respectfully, that's not the environment. This is a space where it's total presence, total alignment. Okay. It's not a space for people. This is not just like a yoga retreat, like a nice fancy Four Seasons hotel or an Anantara where, you know, you just sit by the pool and take calls and do a bit of work. It's not like that. No, this is deep transformational work. On the final evening, actually the evening before the final evening, we had a mushroom ceremony. Again, the mushrooms are potent, but they also help you understand the information that is downloading from this new server. So again, more alignment. And what I noticed, again, in this ceremony where there was only, it was 4 hours, and all 10 of us sat around, and there's no talking. There's just different bits of music, okay? Music varying from ayahuasca type music, shamanic music, frequency music, the kind of music that can, once you are, you know, on the mushrooms, on the experience, it's an opportunity for you to get deep in that mind and unlock little things and think. And I encouraged everyone has a notepad. Have a little write what you're thinking. And even after that, I was speaking to some of the people, and it was so interesting what they were like, their mind-body connection, how they feel like they've been missing the ability to connect with all of even just the intramuscular feelings of when you're moving your body, and you know, it's all of that aligning together all as one. And then on final day, no medicines. We went on a boat day, and we had a great time, and we spent time each day. We did something. We went to the beaches. We, you know, sat in restaurants. We sat in coffee shops and stuff like that. All the while, we went back to the villa, beautiful setting, was cooked from our chef, Max. And we did a bit of yoga, breath work, meditations. And we shared on the last day what we took away from this. And it was just so interesting that all 10 people, first of all, had bonded a connection with one another on such a deeper level than you'd expect in everyday life, which I think this is one of the things that drives me to want to do this for people, because we live in such a fast-paced way of life. We live in a society where relationships they're a bit come and go. Everything's a bit too fast. We don't know whether things are going to work out or not. We might see one guy or one woman 1 month, and then the next we might not see them for a while. After I went to Mexico, I felt like I built deep, soulful connections with one another and the people I was spent time with. And I wanted to recreate that, and I successfully did that. And what was beautiful is when I had people from the retreat write down what they'd learned about other people. Again, I referenced one of the guys, James. He actually stood up confidently, I'll give him his due. And at the end, he'd wrote something about every single person, about how they've impacted him. about how he's taken something from them and it's positively impacted his life. So when all of us sat round, and on the final day we did a meditation on the sunrise at about 6:30 a.m. and just after that we shared what we'd taken away, and it was beautiful that every single person had deepened their connection with one another, they deepened the connection within themselves, and they'd learned something about themselves. And now the reintegration is just as important, because spending time after being around these types of medicines, there's a lot of new information. I say there might be emotion, okay? You might feel quite sad, going back to a reality that was once a dream world in this environment. But once you start processing all of this information, little signs will just start to appear, and they're not random, okay? They're not random. They don't just pop out of nowhere. This is the work you've done with your subconscious and conscious mind, and that's what's beautiful, and that's what Anima is all about. And that is what I want to work with you and help you find clarity, help you understand your vision, what your purpose is on this planet, because I'm still finding mine. And sharing that with other people it's a blessing. Thank you for watching this video, and hopefully see you in the next retreat. If you want any more information how you can work with me, contact below. Ciao.